Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Simtrax Broadcasting. We are here at Richmond Raceway to go ahead and bring the Bandit Racing League here for race number 16 here of the season. Currently, we are got our guys out there under qualifying here for another 2.5 minutes here as they squeeze in the last few laps. Right now, I got our eyeballs here on Victor Weaver. Got another lap to go here. Currently sitting 13th and struggling to get a little more if he can. Now up to 12th. Currently, right now, we are taking a look at a couple of different things here with the Bandit Racing League. The $20 bounty for Nick Nickerson. Anyone who can beat this guy, this is going to be a lot of things that is going to happen here. So we're going to see if all is well, and guys are going to be really pressing here tonight. Richmond Raceway definitely has a lot of racing lines out there. Shouldn't be that hard on the right side tires with this fixed setup that they're going to be running here tonight, slightly modified out there by Bill Harkins himself. Harkins, though, will be starting in the 9th position. Kevin Foster and Nick Nickerson definitely knowing how to get that speed is the Perfect Shine Auto Spa machines will be starting 1 and 2 here tonight. And it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to unseat them. Jonathan Platt finally getting his last lap down here. He's got to definitely get a move on. Right now, I've got our eyes. Right now, with a 22.80, he's knocking down lap number 4 here. 11.3 through turn 1 and 2. Not stellar timing here, but he's going to see if he can rush across that line. And it looks like 6th position is where he's going to be starting. So the 43 machine not happy with his start here. Going to have some trouble here as we continue this. Yeah, definitely a lot of trouble. Guys banging up here out there on the track. Currently, we are seeing Josh Adams, who had a heck of a race last race. He was definitely able to come in clutch. Last time, he actually scored on the pole back at Stafford Motor Speedway that we saw last week. Kind of tumble around a little bit when it comes to the points chase, though. Points chase still leading up, though, out there in front by Nick Nickerson. I believe he's got about a 31-point gap here over top of Jonathan Platt. But Nickerson has his head down here for tonight as he has sworn he is not going to lose another race this season. In case he ends up missing one, he needs to continue spreading the gap here on Jonathan Platt, who was extremely hot start of the season. So speaking of the season is coming to a close here rather fast. Right now, we are, like I said, we are in race number 16, 18 races in total. We'll be at Slinger Speedway next week for the Cheese State Classic 150, and then finishing off with the Perfect Shine Battle for the Crown at Lucas Oil Speedway 150. So that is going to be a wild race here that we are going to see. And what a track to warm up at here at Richmond. Now, fortunately, a good cleanup crew out there on the track is going to make sure there are no marbles out there, no rubber actually built up either, which is rather unfortunate. Although the weather does continue to hold off, though. Everything looking pretty solid out there. I believe about 78 degrees we'll see out there on the track. So let's go ahead and take a look for confirm. That is our temperature out there. 82 is what it's warmed up to, though. One fast repair here tonight with 100% fuel limit. Fortunately, 3 sets of tires down there in the pit, which if you guys remember at all, there from Jonathan Platt, he was actually winning races out there on a single set of extra tires down in the pit. So really had to weigh his options and take care of those tires. These guys can use and abuse them just a little bit more here from the latter on in the season. All right, I'll be your lead producer and commentator here tonight. Dalton Kilroy doing his finest job in the cat seat as he'll be looking down on the rest of these racers to do his best out there. One driver out there, I like to note that Nicole Krazel out there used to be an old RC here for this season. She'll be out there on the track here tonight. I was looking during practice. Unfortunately, Miss Nicole Krazel a little bit slower out there tonight. She's going to be really trying to see if she can press and get some speed. I talked to her a little bit earlier, and Nicole was kind of hinting a little bit. She's struggling here in the late model, and a lot of people we see that are either part-time or not having a good chance out here on the track to knock down some time That does seem to unfortunately be the issue out there, is not having enough time behind that wheel and seeing how they can go. Check it out there in the chat. Looks like Rebecca Holsey, Jay has even joined us here tonight, and Robin Allen finally showing up. There we go. I'm sure to give me an earful out there in the chat. It should be pretty wild. Now, I know you guys have been butting heads a little bit out there with Jonathan Platt, but Platt has been doing a heck of a job out here. But one person I would like to note that has returned here for tonight's race is going to be Curtis Yancey. Now, this guy is going to be having a hard time here tonight as he has battled back and forth with attendance. He's going to be struggling to get toward the front. As you see, he currently will be starting, I believe, outside the top 10 here for this run. And that is going to be very difficult here for the Bass Pro Shops machine and his way forward. Now, taking a look at where Curtis Yancey currently sits 17th down there in the points. Yuck. 17th and has a win here on the season. That also goes for Brandon Action Jackson, which he is going to be having a handful here if he were to show. Unfortunately, I do not see Action Jackson out here, so he will be marching down in the points. That is going to be heartbreaking here for the number 91 machine that we normally see out here battling. So what a race here we've got lined up for you here tonight. So really, I've been kind of poking around a little bit to see if I can find a couple of drivers who have an opportunity to get out here onto the track. And one of them I do want to grab a hold of and see if we have an opportunity is the number 15 out there of Matt Crockett. Matt, you got a copy on me there, buddy?
Yeah, that was scary. Yeah.
Yeah, boom. All right, man. Surprise here to the Liquid Death Machine. All right, the number 15 machine has gotten in a little bit of cahoots out there with the 84 of David Lakey out there. You guys seem to be bumping and bashing around there during practice. What's going on out there on the track?
Oh, we're just having fun. Nothing serious.
All right. Well, talk to me about this track. You know, how do we stay clean with the multiple race lines that we have the opportunity to have here tonight?
Just stay off of each other, give plenty of room in the corners. I mean, there's a lot of track here, a lot of different lanes you could race in here. So, yeah, the opportunity is there.
All right, so you say a lot of room. Only on a 3/4 of a mile track. This is actually a little bit larger than some of the other ones that we do race on. Are we talking a lot more room as in side-by-side racing, or are we talking lengthwise?
Side by side in the corners, there's plenty of room on the corners. Just out of the corners, out of a 2 can get a little tight, can get a little aero tight. But this car with this track, it's almost like a freaking 1.5-mile track. So yeah.
Boy, tumble up here. You switch into more of a lime green car here tonight. Are we hoping for a little better luck out of the 15 to see if we can charge up to the front and get a top 5 finish?
Hoping. I like going bright color cars because hopefully they can see me and not kill me.
I always joked around about that. People who always run in the black cars, they never seem to see us out there, and they're going to really be trying. Now, okay, last question before I let you go here. Logan Murray has currently passed you, I believe, last race in the points chase. This knocks you out of the top 5. You know, is that a guy you really got your eyes set on that, hey, I got to make sure I finish in front of him?
Honestly, I'm just looking to finish good, maybe with the 0Xs and just conserve tires. I don't know, for some reason this car and me don't get along with saving tires, so that's just my goal, is to save as much tires as I can and be there at the end.
All right, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, a lot of things. Trying to stay clean, the track is extremely difficult out there. When everybody else is trying to battle for the same position, they don't wish to fall backwards. But that is going to be definitely a handful here for you tonight. Matt, good luck to you out there, buddy.
Thank you, appreciate it, and thank you for what you do.
Oh, not a problem, buddy. All right, Matt Crockett doing his best out there. Now, Jonathan Platt, I believe, is getting ready to get warmed up here. Now, we only have a little bit left here to go in the warm-up. Now, I do want to see if we can find where Bob Berry is. Now, I know Bob Berry has been quite a handful out there. Bob, long time, haven't talked to you a little bit here, man, but we've got a few guys out here really hoping that 75 machine can charge forward.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? Had a little hiccup there in time trial. I think I should have been a little bit further forward, so I'm looking forward to climbing through the field tonight.
All right. Well, a lot of guys have been battling up front. I know some drivers we see get a high qualifying time, but end up falling backwards. I'm not pointing anything at David Lakey. I think we've seen you do it a couple times where you've gotten a top 5 start, but then seem to kind of come on later into the race. Is that really your, I would say, your plan, your strategy out there? Of maybe sitting back and letting the race kind of unfold and then attacking a little bit later on?
Yeah, that's kind of the way I like to attack it a bit, because especially here with this car, I mean, you are going to chew tires up if you go hard, fast, and early, so let them spit them out and try and pick them off at the end.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about tire strategy out there. Why do you have why is this car so difficult on tires? I mean, the tire's not wide enough? Is the car too heavy? Are guys just too aggressive into these turns? I mean, why does it always seem that the right front and the right rear are just so detrimental in this car?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I think it's a size to weight ratio. But if you go out and want to run, qualifying laps for the first 5 or 10, you're going to fall off pretty hard. So, fortunately, I think I've got a pretty good pace that'll keep us there throughout the first segment. Make adjustments at halftime if I have to.
All right, Bob. Well, we'll be hoping for a good race out of you here tonight. Unfortunately, you've fallen down a couple of positions here in the points. That drops you to 9th. Still in the top 10 running, buddy, but I think Richmond, this should be right at home for you here, buddy.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good luck. Patrick. Yep, no problem. All right, everybody, that is Bob Berry there. We're going to go ahead and send him back to his race car. His drivers are getting out there onto the track. Looks like I got a brand new driver out here, though. Looks like a gentleman by the name of Adam Clark. Looks like from Catonsville, Connecticut. Race car and number incorrect, but we're going to see how he does out here on the track with the Bandit Racing League. I can't blame him at all for really wanting to try and come out here and give these guys a go. I'm sure we'll talk to Nick Nickerson later on here this evening, whether it be a 1, 2, or 3 position run. Currently looking at 104, getting swallowed up here by a couple of drivers just practicing. So we may see him end up in a little bit of some trouble here. Let's see how he does on 3 wide. And just, ladies and gentlemen, just figure this. He is... Oof. This is just practice. There we go. Platt gets in him. I guess Platt's greeting him to the wall and the Bandit Racing League his own way. All right. Wow. Now, this is definitely getting pretty crazy out here. Anyway, all right, that is going to do it for our warm-up here. Drivers getting ready to head back down into the pits. And we're going to see these guys get ready to go. Yeah, another big name out there, Benjamin Lacey. I do not see Mr. Lacey out here. I don't see Nolan Gross out here. Man, so a lot of these drivers are going to be tumbling around out there. I do want to take a point and hint at, looks to be a season 16 maybe winding up here. There was a little bit of hint at it there with Kevin Foster. Nothing set in stone quite yet. But I believe we're going to be heading back to some super speedway racing. I'm not 100% sure exactly which vehicle we're going to be in. I knew it was a tangle up of staying in these cars, moving to the trucks, moving to the Xfinity cars. I don't think anybody chose out there to go ahead and race in the next-gen cars. I think that was a hard no on that one. No one was interested in giving that race up to these other guys and allowing them to run that run. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look here at our starting grid here for tonight. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe out there, as the only way you can go out there and chat and tell the Knocksters out there and Robin Allen what you really think about those comments she puts out there. All right, let's go ahead and get to it here. Kevin Foster and Nick Nickerson. I told you guys once, I'll tell you again, the Perfect Shine Auto Spa machine sitting in 1 and 2 GFR Racing, ready to go. Josh Adams and Jackson Knock will be sitting right behind. Hopefully Knock can get the magnet off of him that consumed him last week. Moving on to David Lakey, who starts in 5th. Jonathan Platt will be a 6th place start. Expect to see him charge up for a top 3, if not chasing Nickerson and Foster. Moving on to Logan Murray, who's moved up 1 position, getting past Bob Berry, where Jackson Duke, take a look at that. Jackson Duke returning back to the league here to go ahead and give Richmond a solid go. Right now, Bob Berry will be starting 9th, and a top 10 finish here, start here for Bill Harkins. Moving on to Curtis Yancey, 11th spot, and he'll be starting to the inside of Matt Crockett that we talked to not but too long ago. All right, Victor Weaver back at 13th. He'll be starting on the inside of Nicole Krazel here, who'll be starting on the outside of row number 7. And our final row with Adam Clark, and it looks like Connor Gibson. Now I'm looking to take a double check here that Connor Gibson does not have the car fired up here. And it does not look like he will be starting this race, which will actually be quite harmful to his points chase, as he has been missing some races here, and he's going to have a world of hurt here if he can't seem to figure this out and get out onto the track. His boy needs to get some starts out there. Connor Gibson currently holding a 10th spot in the points chase, but right now, boy, he's already used a few provisionals here. He's only shown up for 10 races. And I think right now, if we get a solid finish here out of Jackson Knock and Bill Harkins, it looks like possibly Jason Greenwell and Connor Gibson will get knocked out of our starting top 10 here when we get to the finals here of the season. Getting ready to go here. Drivers going around the backstretch for the last warm-up lap before our green flag. Pretty excited, everybody pretty stoked about how this race is going to turn out. Kevin Foster ready to go. Green flag. Solid race here so far. Stage 1 will end at lap number 60, where Foster and Nickerson out in front. Not getting a little out of shape here, as he stays on the high side. Josh Adams trying to hold him up there, see if he can fry that right front tire off for him and give Knock a little something to think about later on here in the run. Everybody staying real tight, close to the bottom here, almost scrubbing that apron. I want to thank a big shout out here to Clear Low Communications for sponsoring the last 3 races here of the season. That brought to you out there by Jonathan Platt. We're still rolling on. Kevin Foster running this race at his own pace. Kelly Queel is super excited to see Kevin out there. Really rocking on, though. Early Kevin Foster stays down toward the bottom. Looked like Nickerson was taking a peek toward the top. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all, though. Kevin Foster out there in the blue rims. You can see his teammate sitting right behind him. Not making any sudden movements here. Want Kevin Foster to lead some laps here. Guy hasn't had a whole lot of chance to lead any laps. Currently, coming into this race, Kevin Foster's only led 7 laps this season compared to Nick Nickerson's 715. So we'll keep an eye on that. Currently, battle still holds on, though. Josh Adams was able to overcome Jackson Knock, but Knock back at it again. Knock taking a look underneath here. He's going to try to see if he can press into him. Yeah. Gives a little dent there on the side of the 22. Yep, looks like he's going to go ahead and make a full clear. So good job there by Josh Adams. Adams, I believe, scoring on the pole back on the last race. This guy is starting to show up a lot more, and it's starting to be a threat out there. But speaking of threat, let's take a look back here at normally row number 3, where Jonathan Platt moved up to 5th, but David Lakey is still holding that 43 on the high line here. All right, David Lakey staying pretty solid there. We talked a little bit about Matt Crockett. Currently, right now, Matt Crockett falling way off pace here. Hoping to see if Crockett's going to attack and move up. The Alan Kwiecki car out there of Logan Murray. Currently, Logan's lost a position as Bob Berry is charged up to 7th. He's on the outside. Looking to keep that outside speed if he can get through. If that were the race, that'd be it for him. 7th as he gets that nose right across the line before Logan Murray that hangs out on the bottom. Foster still leading this race here, all 11 laps so far. As both Foster and Nickerson are starting to get a solid breakaway here from this race and from the rest of the drivers. Whoa, out of shape here. Curtis Yancey on the apron. Seems to wash up that track just a hair as Jackson Duke in the Sundrop car watched all that happen right out the windshield. Right now, good turns. It does look like the 8 is getting a little scrubbing a little bit out there. You see he is running a little bit higher into the turns, which is giving him some trouble. And that's what causes the contact into the wall on the backstretch. As I am seeing Nicole Krazel may have a problem out back here. Nicole Krazel and Adam Clark may have had some trouble, but it looks like that is over. Well, I don't know if those two had a quick little blink out there, but it's caused currently Kevin Foster to mix up out there on the track. Quick little blink out. Nice little gap they've got here. About 1 second in front of Joshua Adams. Adams able to stretch out to his own 8/10 of a lead over top of Jackson Knock. Currently, the worst thing that can happen out here on the track is a caution. Hopefully, we don't get one of those. Let's check back in on Bob Berry, who's working on David Lakey. Berry has the favorable line down here on the bottom. That's how Berry floats toward the top, squeezes the 84 so he can't dive in. Berry not clear yet. He's trying, though. Berry looking to break into the top 5. He's got only one more position, and that is Jonathan Platt way in front of him. But first things first, Bob Berry in the 75 has got to overtake the 84 of David Lakey. Now Lakey's still working it here, if he can. And we'll take a peek. I think we got a battle here for the lead. Shifting up to the front, Nickerson looks to the inside. Currently at the line, Foster did have it. Nickerson still going ahead and pressing his luck down here on the bottom. As right now, Nickerson looking to push on through. Not able to get a full clear here. Here's Foster to the outside. Foster holding on though, great job. Perfect Shine Auto Spa machine takes a look to the inside. That's Nickerson, gets a solid bite. Foster holds down to the bottom. That makes Nickerson check up. Great job there by Foster. Although a teammate, he does want to lead some more laps here. Nickerson going to fade to the top, sit back just a little bit, and I think he got the hint. And now everything looking awesome. Let's take a look back here as we've got a pile up. Not a pile up as in a caution. Drivers all mushing into one spot here. This is the spot where we find David Lakey, Bob Berry, Logan Murray, and Curtis Yancey. Yancey actually a little bit slower here tonight than usual. Yancey, our normal little fireball out there, can shoot his way up to the front. Currently, Yancey taking a conservative 2-position gain up to 9th. Now we do see Yancey go ahead and side with Logan Murray in the number 4 to see if he can push him forward. And see if they can both get clear here of Bob Berry. Berry gets caught toward the top. So Berry now takes that 2-position gain and wipes it free back down to 9th. We'll take a look back here to the lead. Once again, Nickerson's going to take a look to the inside. Only 3/4 of the car getting to the side of the number 8. And make a quick switch up there as Nickerson takes a solid bite. Foster wags it off turn 2. goes and smacks it off the wall there just a hair. Foster then gets full clear, but it's Foster punishing his car to stay in front. So, Kevin Foster, Nick Nickerson, Josh Adams, Jackson Knock, and Jonathan Platt. All these guys separated by about 2.5 seconds here for our top 5. David Lakey, Curtis Yancey, Bob Berry, Logan Murray, and finishing off with Jackson Duke, sitting about 5 seconds off pace here for our top 10 drivers. Pretty wide spread that we're seeing here. Really need to start moving. Right now I do see Nicole Krazel down in the pits. She was hoping for a good run here tonight. That is not going to be the case. Unfortunately, the last 3 minutes been sitting down there in pit. If I do not mistaken here, I believe Miss Krazel out there was having some connection issues. So hopefully this is not the end of Nicole's night. Hopefully able to boomerang back, as we've only got 25 laps under our belt here on the first stage. Currently, the Bandit Racing League would like to thank you for joining us here tonight. They recommend you go ahead and like and subscribe out there. That way you can chat it up. Obviously, you can see Rebecca Weaver out there and Robin Allen. Definitely letting it rip. Surgery Steve as well. And looks like the D-Train is out there in the chat. Appreciate you guys keeping it lively out there. Biggest thing is trying to keep everything cordial. Make sure you guys don't want a fist fight out there over a few of the drivers out there. Jackson not doing his best out there to see if he can make up some ground right now. The way these front two guys, Foster and Nickerson, the way they are leaving this field is really something. Right now, I think a few guys might be taking some notes. One of them is Josh Adams. He had fade back, I believe, about 1.2 seconds, has gone ahead and begun closing that gap. Running is slightly a little bit slower than Foster and Nickerson here. The past couple of laps, as I say that, he goes ahead and smashes another lap down. He picks up almost a tenth of a second on that run, 23:10. Currently, that's about half a second slower than his fastest lap here tonight. As we teeter into our 29th lap here. Right now, Nickerson seeing there might be a possibility here of getting around Kevin Foster. Boy, everything looking good so far. Jay out there was joking around a little bit about the name of this race for the Netcode Nationals 125. Currently, everything is looking pretty good here. As normally, yes, this is when we do see a little bit of that dreaded netcode that we see. So Curtis Yancey, right now, this is the Battle Force 6 that we kind of pan our camera over and find. Right now, Curtis Yancey was able to get over David Lakey on lap number 30. Lap number 31, that's going to go to Curtis Yancey. Yancey has now moved up 5 positions. Not bad for an 11th place start. As he continues this charge forward. It's the Big Harold out there recommending that currently Victor Weaver try to step on the gas. He's moved up 1 position here. He is now still hanging back there in 12th. I believe Victor Weaver about to knock over the 9 seconds off pace here. But he's going to hang back there with Matt Crockett. And I got to admit, I think I like the decision here at Richmond to hang back just a little bit and let these guys go for it, because I don't know here at Richmond if there's going to be some trouble. All right, this one looks like a strong run here by Nickerson. Nickerson does get a slight chance here to shoot across the line. And see if he can overtake Kevin Foster. This looks pretty good. Right now he's got a full car side by side. This is going to give Nickerson the opportunity to get the pass, and he does. He's got it. Not clear yet, though. Right now, great run here by Nickerson, able to overtake. Currently, this is the view from the back. Nickerson sitting in front of Josh Adams here. Adams helping along with a little bit of the pushing. And Nickerson's out front. So as Nickerson gets that pass, here comes Josh Adams. I would say a little bit of tire conservation here by the 22. I think right now Nickerson's radioed up to his team saying, well, that 22's looking strong. You better pass your own teammate and start running away with this thing with the fresh air if you can. As the 22 of Josh Adams showing that he can make it happen here even in the dirty air. And that has got to be quite concerning here for our Perfect Shine Auto Spa team. Coming back out onto the track, though, is Nicole Krazel in the number 6. Currently, that does mean that our drivers are getting ready to catch up to her very quickly. Take a look, I believe if I say that, Miss Krazel, I believe, is down 22 laps coming back onto the track. So she'll be looking to catch a few of those. Currently, Josh Adams here in the 22 as we sit here. Josh Adams been up front most of the night here. Boy, what a breakaway here from the rest of the field. 1, 2, and 3 currently sitting on our screen. Foster starting to hang back a little bit here. Got some solid laps led. But then we roll back about 2 seconds. That's where we find Jackson Knock. Knock looking to see if he can conjure up a little more speed here, get up to the front. Quietly chipping away at the field is Bill Harkins. Harkins now up to 9th as Barry falls outside the top 10. He's now down to 11th. 15 drivers started this race here tonight, all of them still running. Nicole Krazel had us a little scared out there. She may or may not be making it. Jonathan Platt looks like he's getting ready to set himself up for a run here as he chases Curtis Yancey. Right now dropping below 100 miles an hour, entering the turns here. Might be trying to do a little tire conservation. I don't know if I would be recommending that now with only about 17 laps left to go here in the stage for our number 2 points runner. Let's take a look back up to the front. Nickerson under fire here. Nickerson getting a lot more love than Platt gets out there on the track, especially when Nickerson started a bunch of cautions out there during our first few races here of the season. Had trouble with the point of that nose, knowing exactly where it is. We'll take a look off the side here of Nick Nickerson's machine. Nickerson going to hold the outside the same way Kevin Foster was. Take a look back right now. Give it to Josh Adams here. I don't think he's going to give up without a good fight here. This guy's slinging out of the turn. Nickerson at the line. Only had him about 60 thousandths of a second there. That was close. Oof. That might have been the mistake Josh Adams needed to see. He's going to have the pass here. Although Nickerson did fumble here, watch right now as we sit inside here with Nick Nickerson. It's super close. Notice how Adams backs up that turn a little bit. Nickerson having to pump the brakes. As these two go at it here, battle starts heating up back here between Curtis Yancey and Jackson Knox. This will be the battle for 4th position. Yancey looking for the 7th position gain here on the night. Yancey has it about a fender here. Not going to go ahead and let Yancey have it. Good job here so far. Our drivers out there on the track. Adams, Nickerson, Foster, 1, 2, and 3. Yancey and Knock, 4 and 5. And I think the battle might fizzle out here as Knock is going to have to tuck back into 5th. As they continue to charge faster and faster toward our lapped car. Early Nicole Crazel trying to hold on here as they get around one lapped car of Adam Clark. Clark now goes down a lap. Currently watch our 3rd place driver, Kevin Foster, look to negotiate around the new driver. All right. Looks like Adam Clark went ahead and gave a high five to the wall there. Goes ahead and lets Kevin Foster on by, trying not to impede him as much as possible. Currently, Foster's dropped back by about 1.6 seconds, so longevity not looking good here for the number 8. Definitely going to take that back to the drawing board. Consider Kevin Foster without pitting here. Nobody on fresh tires. Some trouble. Whoop. Oh, ricochet off the wall yet again. Jackson Knock appreciating him moving out of the way, but that does cause some pain and damage for Adam Clark and his body team out there. So as Kevin Foster worked around our lap car, this has opened the door for Curtis Yancey to make a name for himself here. Yancey taking a look to the inside of Foster. We have not seen a Curtis Yancey win since Thompson Speedway back on February 11th. That's both when he took the pole and won the race. And we have been on a little bit of a drought here for the 51. Very, very strong driver. And he's showing just that as Curtis Yancey gains the 8th position here of the night. What a job he has been doing here tonight. Curtis Yancey up to 3rd. This will be awesome if he can go ahead and finish this out. Go ahead and finish 3rd in the stage. Like a set of fresh tires and fuel will sling him back out there. Let's check in on Jackson Duke. Looks like he is being overtaken back here for the 11th position. Matt Crockett's going to go ahead and overtake. Piece of cake there. Coming on late is Bill Harkins. Harkins has Logan Murray chasing him here. And if we take an eye at the points there, Logan Murray currently sitting in 5th. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bill Harkins has missed 2 or 3 races this season. Currently sitting 13th in the points. Check back here on Jackson Knock. Currently, boy, Kevin Foster right now is wondering what is going on. He would love to put a new set of shoes on that car. Just got to stop the bleeding here. 4 left to go. So Knock now up to 4th. Jonathan Platt trying to see if he can get past David Lakey here. Platt currently holding in 6th. Boy, Lakey onto the apron. Boy, that would have been bad. Slide up into the 43, cause a bunch of trouble. 3 laps left to go. Oh, Josh Adams here in the front. Currently doing an excellent job here. Led 14, looking for lap number 15 here as he crosses the line. Caught up to our lapped car of Nicole Crazel. Crazel down 21, maybe 22 here. Normally you see spotters start talking to other teams out there. But Crazel just stay on the line. And keep rolling here. Caution does come out. Stage win gonna go to Josh Adams. What a run here. So our first scheduled caution comes out. Caution free. 60 laps here of the race. Right up front. That was going to say, guys, they will go back and watch the broadcast here, see how they did, see what we see from our angle. Go ahead and put out there in the chat, light it up there, guys. Tell them how much you enjoyed seeing green flag racing. 60 laps untouched, no cautions out here tonight. Fresh tires for everyone, I'm sure. Nickerson, no points, no positions gained. That also goes for Jackson Knock and Jonathan Platt. They both retained positions 2, 4, and 6. Kevin Foster falls off 4. Josh Adams picks up a couple. Yancey up 8. Wow. David Lakey lost a couple. He started 5th. Harkins in 10th up to 8th. Logan Murray from 7th to 9th. And Victor Weaver goes ahead and sneaks into the top 10 here. Great job. He was able to gain 3. All right, drivers working their way on down into pit road. As they meet the pit box here, they'll be ready to go. Go ahead and square these cars away, get some fresh tires on the machines. As right now, Josh Adams feeling real good. Real good about that run. So fantastic job here by Josh Adams. Josh, you got a copy on me out there? Josh Adams. I wonder if he had to step away. Hoping not.
Yeah,
20. There you go. All right, Josh. What a run out there, dude. You were able to, you've been up front most of the night, you know, in the top 3 positions, but able to come away with the stage win. How'd it feel?
Oh, it felt good to, kind of just do what I thought maybe I would be able to do, catch them on the long run. I wasn't sure. I wasn't, very good with that 1 lap deal, but this the NASCAR stuff, if you will, like this type of track is kind of my bread and butter, so I thought I'd be able to take my time and hope it came to me.
Well, I've got to admit, coming on a lot later there, Kevin Foster led a good chunk of those laps. Nickerson then took over after that, but then I would notice you started slowly taking little bites, working your way up toward the front, and then once you were up front, is the fresh air helping you at all out there to maintain that lead?
It might a little bit. I'm not too sure. I felt like I maybe got tight a couple of times when I got right behind them, but if so, I don't feel like it's enough to see a major difference. But I'm sure any kind of cleaner helps.
All right, let's talk game plan here for the final part of this race. Obviously, we want to hold on the lead. We'd love to see another caution-free stage here all the way to the end. But now with the lead, does this change the way you race? We're not having to play catch-up. We're not having to try to run away with this one. I mean, talk to me about what's happening with the team, with the 22 team.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to have to play catch-up. So, ideally, we would not recreate, what happened last week. We'll want to take off clean, and then just set a pace and make them have to pass me.
All right, Josh. We're holding you to that right now. Nick is not wanting to lose another race here. Tumble up that we saw last week is heartbreaking. I still, even when I close my eyes, I see it happening again. But a lot of things hopefully don't repeat itself. Josh, good luck to you out there, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everybody, that is going to be Josh Adams down there on 937 Racing with Victor Weaver. These guys are hoping to kind of work together and see if they can fight their way up to the front, which is easier said than done. Many drivers seem to find just that groove out there, and they're looking to really work on their moves up front. Now, I do want to take a poke a little bit here and see if I can find one driver that is a little on edge every time he gets out there onto the track. And I want to see if I can find the number 12 out there of Bill Harkins. Bill, you got a copy on me out there?
I do.
All right. Well, you have been slowly picking off a couple of positions here on your moves up front. What are you noticing about riding in the pack?
Well, I knew people were going to wear tires out because this thing was chewing tires up last night, and some people came in with like 1% right front tire left, and some of them came in with a meatball. I was still up around the 40% on my right front, 70 on my right rear. So I was just kind of saving tires and just holding consistent laps.
Wow. Now, I talked to Bob Berry a little bit about tire conservation, of what in the world can these guys do to maintain tires on the car. No caution in the first stage. Everybody's super excited, even people in the chat excited that you guys ran caution-free. If this goes again, I mean, we got to stretch this out just a little bit more. I mean, what is tires looking like for the rest of the teams and your team?
Well, I think you're definitely going to get some cautions in the second half. So I think with that in mind, you'll have people, diving down pit road immediately to get tires because they know how important they are. For me, my strategy is just run consistent laps. Once I run the consistent laps, the tires will be there, and I'll just work my way through again.
All right. Well, one thing to hold on to is when you're out there racing, everybody wants to sling past you on those new tires. But then the key is just hanging back enough and let them make the mistakes. Let them burn their stuff off. If we do end up with a bunch of cautions, though, Bill, isn't that kind of strategy shooting yourself in the foot, though?
Shoot myself in the ding-ding would be the better way to put it.
All right, Bill. All right. Well, hopefully all that telemetry and that and the stuff you've been building out there can help square this away, buddy. I'm noticing a couple cars out there bottoming out on the track. I don't know if these cars are getting real heavy around the track, or these guys really hard into the brakes.
I'd say they're hard in the brakes.
Boy, yeah. All right. Well, Bill, good luck to you out there, buddy, and hopefully we can see you up toward the top, maybe another top 5 finish.
Yeah, let's hope.
All right. Good luck out there, Bill.
All right, thanks.
All right, everybody. Bill Harkins, that's him for you. As we get ready to wrap this warm-up on up right now, drivers are getting out there and lining up on the track to get restarted out there. Kevin Foster finished first here. Actually started first here in the race. Oh boy, I'm already getting ahead of myself. But Kevin Foster really struggling to stay in the top 5. He has been holding on, though, after leading some laps. I'm wondering if he's just going to slowly peck him off here, or if he's going to try to hard charge toward the front. Guy I expect to see charge toward the front is the 51 machine of Curtis Yancey. This guy, I've got a feeling, we're going to see the old Curtis Yancey here. This is going to be pedal to the metal, and he is going to pile drive to the front. This guy has been nothing but, not trouble, but a one to keep your eyes on. Curtis Yancey, this guy has been absolutely on a tear here when he comes out to the track. Now, I guarantee you everybody has that sigh of relief when the 51 machine does not show up to the track. But in hindsight, you love to see what that 51 can do. Curtis Yancey really gets his in his feelings out there, especially when other drivers want to push him around. He has no problem pushing right on back. Looking like the Bandit Racing League out there in the chat. Welcoming everybody here. Season 60 information will be coming soon, and I'm sure that'll also be released out there on the website that'll be firing back off here. I'd like to thank Bill Harkins and crew and admin team out there for going ahead and resurrecting the Bandit Racing League to talk these guys up, get the drivers excited, and get the fans excited too about coming out here and giving you the best in the iRacing, sim racing world. All right, currently looks like Josh Adams may be getting the thumbs up out there to go ahead and get those tires rolling back onto the track, and we'll get a couple warm-up laps and be back underway here in just a moment. Would like to thank again for Clear Glow Communications out there for these guys signing on here for the last part here of the season. Jonathan Platt will be looking to have a good run here as he sits in 6th. Don't know if he'll be clear low or if he's still going to have Curtis Yancey, if he's still going to have Kevin Foster or David Lakey to his inside. I think he'd love the flying sidekick. One of them out of his way. He's had enough. Driving out there saying, get trucks. Yep, I know. I'm wondering if we're going to be truck racing out there, or if we're going to be out there running in any different vehicles. I know Xfinity was a very popular one, but I think they'd like to see these guys back possibly in the pickups. Say if we are truck racing, I would say truck racing is nice. I like it. I think a lot of people forget how much tail end there is to the vehicles, and they end up sideswiping or going across the front of the nose of some of these drivers. They are a little bit slower, but I like seeing these guys back in the old, H pattern, putting these guys at a 4-speed out there, letting these guys rip, and try to get up around 170, 180 miles an hour, places like Daytona and Talladega, where the racing can get really, really dicey. All right. Should be, I believe, getting one more time around as a lapped car going ahead and working his way around the track. Remember, laps under caution do not count. We're going to reset here, and I believe they should have 65 laps. Run this out to the end. Josh Adams will be in a number 1 spot here. So we might have a problem. I'm wondering if we got an issue here with Nick Nickerson. Yeah, that might be the trouble. Right now he's having to play catch-up. I don't know if he couldn't get that car refired. He is really trying to hurry up to get to the front here of the pack. Right now, I believe he should have been starting on the outside up here. There he is. All right. So I should do it now. We should be green flag next time by. Josh Adams and Nick Nickerson sitting 1 and 2. Curtis Yancey and Jackson Knox will be sitting in row number 2. Kevin Foster, Jonathan Platt for row number 3. Row number 4 is going to go to David Lakey and Bill Harkins. And row number 5 for Logan Murray and Victor Weaver. All right, Josh Adams getting lined up here. Notice this start is a lot more conservative and nice than what we saw there with Jonathan Platt. I think currently Josh Adams able to get a full car length out here. And who's behind him? The wild child out there of Curtis Yancey. Yancey taking a quick look through the inside of the 22. He makes a good hook. Can't seem to get any traction, though, as that speed did not come with it. Currently, guys spreading out here on that front stretch. Adams, Nickerson, and Yancey. Right now, Jackson Knox should be able to squeeze in here. Knox taking a look. Got a lot of room. Taking a look here from the inside. Good look. Currently Knox sitting in 4th. To his inside, you'll see right underneath our tower, that's Curtis Yancey. Boy, I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm smacking off that rev limiter there. Knox is wishing they had a little more. They hit off that stutter box. Yancey still unable to get the full clear, though. Nickerson going ahead and getting the lead quick. As Josh Adams fades up the track, Nickerson goes ahead and makes a full clear and gets the pass there on lap number 66. Into 67 he goes. They dive into turn number 3. Nickerson's got it. Josh Adams playing chase. Curtis Yancey sits 3rd. Jackson Knox in 4th. Kevin Foster hanging in tight there for 5th. Oddly enough, Jonathan Platt struggling a little bit here this race. Unfortunately, this does drop him back just about 3/4 of a second off pace here. Nickerson might be under fire already. Yes, he is. Josh Adams, the look to the inside. Boy, I tell you what, a hot seat here tonight is the lead. Currently looks like Josh Adams has there for a blink of an eye. 22 does give a good bit of room here to Nickerson. Expect to see the 22 fade up a little bit. Yes, he does. Good angle here as they shoot down the front stretch. Nice little D pattern sweep. And diving into turn number 1, Josh Adams going to get the best of it. Looks like Nickerson does almost his best Kevin Foster impression. Smacks it off the wall there just a hair. Gives up the lead. That led going back to Josh Adams. As it looks like clear load. Communications doing their best, letting Nick know that the 22 has made a full clear there and has gone around. Yancey still in third, but he's keeping it close. Zenput's knocked behind him now by about a quarter of a second. Let's check back in on some of our other drivers. Let's take a look at Logan Murray. Murray to the outside here. That's currently the battle for our 10th position, as Matt Crockett is sitting in the spot he wants bad. Oh, so batty, but he can't have it, though. Bob Berry's going to slice underneath of him. He gets one. He's looking for the second. Puts Logan Murray behind him. Now has Matt Crockett to him. Boy, Bob Berry driving the tires off this thing. I think somebody told him that don't hang back. Get up front quick. 75 making the charge, though. Sits right behind Victor Weaver, who went ahead and moved up another position here. As they start chopping away. Great job by Jackson Duke. He's currently sitting in 8th. He's got the gap now. Roseanne puts a second between him and Victor Weaver. David Lakey been pretty quiet here most of this race. As next time by, we will be looking at 50 laps left to go. Firestone Tire Studios. I'm pretty excited about that 937 racing team. Really, Josh Adams still having our lead here. Nickerson sits second, Curtis Yancey third, Jackson Knock fourth, and a second and a half back is where we find Kevin Foster. It looks like he might just team up with Jonathan Platt and see if the two of those can work together and work their way to the front. I would say it's very difficult to find teammates or anybody to work with you at a short track. Almost impossible to do. Kevin Foster goes ahead and gives up 6th. I'm afraid Victor Weaver might be giving up 9th, though, as Bob Berry overtakes. 49 laps left to go here on this asphalt battle. You see the rubber starting to build up there on the outside of the track. Hopefully nobody gets high enough to tumble up in those marbles. They can definitely get slick when these guys slide out of the groove. Bob and Allen rooting on Victor Weaver. I tell him to keep moving up. I think if Victor Weaver had a top 10 finish, I think he'd be okay with that. And we all root on Victor Weaver, hoping he can definitely keep the move. Currently, Victor Weaver is hanging out 7th in the points. Currently, Victor Weaver does have 2 top 5s here. 3 more top 10s. He's been doing great here so far later on into the season. A little more practice time seems to be working out well for the NOS machine. Taking a look back at our drivers here in the lead pack. Currently, it does look like Curtis Yancey, I saw, may have made some slight contact to the number 2 out there of Nickerson. Driver I'm really surprised to see not attending here tonight is Eddie Haggy. Haggy tumbling back there in the 8th position in the points. Get to see the HR Magazine consulting out there. Not able to knock down some laps. All right, Nickerson trying to keep it close here. Everything looking pretty solid. Everybody just kind of playing follow the leader literally out there. As we take a look, I hear radio up, some about Alan Kowicki machine starting to look around. Matt Crockett out there. Matt Crockett currently holding in 11th. Logan Murray is falling back 5 positions here on tonight's race. Right now, not having a good run here. Logan Murray might be scrambling to hold on to his points chase. Right now, Victor Weaver is able to do an awesome job. He's able to finish a couple more positions up, and I believe he might be able to actually put Matt Crockett and Logan Murray behind him in the points, which would give him a top 5. hold your breath, though. Victor Weaver's been having some trouble of his own out there. Victor Weaver is unfortunately picking up the pace. The only thing I believe is going to be his problem is those tires are going to fall off if we do not have yellow fever rather soon. Great race here so far. Everybody staying real nice and tight. Everybody really close together. And if you consider our front two drivers are only separated by about 0.3 of a second here. Yancey is playing follow the leader here, which is really confusing. You're used to seeing Yancey shoot up to the front. But if he is backing it up here, just a hair though. Yancey does seem to be not hitting Nickerson. All right. Drivers are all pretty close together here. I would say that our top four drivers are within 0.6 of a second. I think what bothers me the most is 4.4 seconds off the lead is where we find Jonathan Platt. Platt is looking at almost 4 seconds before he can find Jackson Knock. Wow. Separation going to bring some trouble later on here. Let's see if I can find exactly what we're looking for there. There we are. Let's see if we can find a track map. Those are our front four guys, and that is the 43 now crossing the line. That is the amount of distance that he's looking to find the front pack. Very, very unusual. Very unusual here by Jonathan Platt. Yeah, see out there in the chat, even D-Train out there saying those for the top four are a little too close. Yeah, that they are. It looks like Jackson Knock may be falling off pace here. He's been steadily losing time here. The past couple laps, he was off by about a 10th or so. Last run, he's off another 10th here off Curtis Yancey. As he is slowly losing the battle here. Distance currently, the battle for third, as you see Knock falling back though. 1.2 seconds and starting to fade and fade and fade. Alrighty, well, while everything fizzles out here at the track, we'd like to thank you guys for coming here to Simtrax Broadcasting here on this fine Wednesday night with the Bandit Racing League for the Netcode Nationals 125. 30 laps left to go here in our run. Drivers up toward the front and still having possibilities of making some solid passes out there. And we are currently no yellow fever here tonight. Everybody doing quite well. Everybody is not sick, so this is doing awesome as we slowly close out the end of our season here over the next few races. We'll find you at Slinger next week, and then Lucas Oil Speedway will finish out the rest of our season. We've got a few different things we've got going on here. I'm wondering, as they're saying out there, currently we may have some trouble out of the 0-0 here. Now, currently Jackson Knock is sitting 12th in the points. So even a 4th place finish would look pretty solid for him right now. So we are still possibly waiting for Josh Adams' win here in this league. And he is 26 laps away from doing it. As he's wagging just a little bit up front. Josh Adams once again is getting ready to run into some lap traffic. There's full appraisal on this one. You see that track is starting to rubber up pretty well out there. Here we go. Lap traffic. Nicole Crazel toward the top. Adams, Nickerson, Yancey. Yep, Yancey's able to make the clear. Nicole Crazel on the wall. Jackson Knock able to make that pass. As well as our top 4 continue to scurry away from the rest of our field. Currently a 5-second gap between Josh Adams and Jonathan Platt. As it continues to grow out there, we move back to Jackson Duke, who's currently sitting at 8th. Looks like timing-wise, Bob Berry starting to turn up the heat a little bit. Gained about a 10th or so on him last lap, and then fades off the following lap. So I don't know what exactly these guys have got up their sleeve out there, if anything, if they're able to come up with an answer for why some of these guys are lagging off and some are getting faster. I wouldn't question at all if any of these drivers can make an adjustment during the race, come down during halftime and make a quick tire adjustment, and completely set everything off. Code Nationals 125 is not disappointing here tonight. We have run over 100 laps under green. Would Nickerson have anything for Josh Adams here? So our pole sitter going to finish top 5. Indy's got to make up a little over a second here to find Jonathan Platt. I don't know. Kevin Foster definitely laid down a hot lap. He is scrambling to get back there. We're trying to use this opportunity to get underneath David Lakey as to get around the lap car of Nicole Crazel now. Unable to complete that pass that he wanted. David Lakey now is currently 6th. Alrighty, guys, out there in the chat with 17 laps left to go. Go ahead and start calling this race here. Is Nickerson going to make a late move? Is Josh Adams going to win this? Is Curtis Yancey sitting back just far enough in case those two tangle up that he can make that pass? Go ahead and tell me what you think. We'll definitely get it out here on the air for any of our drivers that are tuned in. Kevin Foster, that is him shifting up for our 6th place battle. Currently, Foster taking a look here for David Lakey. If he can get this clear, he's got it, but barely. Lakey not letting off the gas. Staying in it. Up top for Kevin Foster to get this clear. David Lakey still fighting. Still fighting to get around. Not getting it though. Jackson Duke. Everything nice and clean. He's still 8th of his original start spot. And I think that's what a lot of these guys are starting to assume that position. Nickerson started 2nd. And is still there, and the rest of these guys are in their respective positions that they started in. Jackson Knock, Jackson Duke, Bob Berry, and Matt Crockett in their respective qualifying positions. So as this race drags on, notice how Josh Adams has gained a 6/10 gap over top of Nickerson. It looks like Nickerson may be giving up that $20 bounty that is still on his head out there. See out there in the chat, Rebecca Weaver out there. Changed her name. Rebecca Weaver out there. Pretty excited to see how fast this race is going. Yeah, not bad for being live. I believe we've been live for about an hour and 15 minutes here, and these guys are blowing through it here. I've got to admit, just taking a look from our angle, this being such a clean race, and the races you wouldn't think. These guys once raced at Bristol, caution-free, but then get to a 3/4 or a mile track and can't seem to stay off each other's doors. Definitely surprising. Nickerson falling off by almost 9/10 of a second now, as Josh Adams brings himself to less than 10 miles, 10 laps of this race win. Few people in the stands are biting their fingernails out there. The number 2 may not be coming away with a win. This will be a win aside from Nickerson or Platt. I don't know about you guys out there, but I think if there ends up being a different color flag other than the white and checkered, they're going to be coming up here pretty soon, that the race may be set up. Rebecca asking, what do we do for the rest of our nights? I'd recommend that the drivers go and practice for next week's race, so we can have another race like this. This is more of what you expect from the Bandit Racing League. These guys out there doing battle out there on the track, and then being able to just knock down some laps. Speaking of which, Victor Weaver here. Starting to get a little hungry right now. Victor Weaver wants 9th. See if he can gain 4 on the night. Oh, yeah. Victor Weaver able to make the pass around Bob Berry. Good pass there. He goes ahead and gifts Victor Weaver the 9th position. Logan Murray's going to see if he can overtake as well. And he does. Oddly enough, drivers all in the front 5 are spread apart by about 1.3 seconds apiece. And Jonathan Platt still hanging on to just above 6 seconds with 4 laps left to go. Josh Adams, 3 laps left to go here at the line before he wins this race. Nickerson slowly starting to feel this one slip away from him. As our tire fumbles up here, Lance Nickerson's in the lead. Josh Adams may have had a slight disconnect there. As we shuffle up the rest of our screen. Josh Adams, 2 to go. White flag next time by. Our top 10 spread apart by 13.5 seconds. That's not going to matter now. White flag is out. Joshua Adams 3/4 of a mile away from taking away the win. 2 more turns left to go. Nickerson back by 1.5 seconds. Josh Adams not even going to be contested. Excellent job here coming to the line. As across the line he goes. Josh Adams, Nick Nickerson second, Curtis Yancey in third. Great job by Knock and Jonathan Platt to come away with their positions of 4th and 5th. Looks like maybe Bill Harkins is out here duking it out with Matt Crockett. Harkins finishes 13th. Victor Weaver got 9th. Excellent job. And that is going to conclude our race. We're going to go ahead and grab a hold of a couple of our drivers here pretty quick and see if we can talk to them about this race, where we end up finding Curtis Yancey for a 3rd place finish. Curtis, talk to me about this race, man. A lot of work you did out there, gaining 8.
Yeah, it was a good race. Qualifying didn't go so well, so had to battle back a little bit from time, but come out with a P3 after starting 11th or so. I think that's a win in my book.
All right, plenty of driving out here, plenty of lines here at Richmond. Obviously, you found a lot of your success down there toward the yellow line on the bottom. If we could redo this race, would you choose the same line, or did we have a better qualifying time?
I just suck in qualifying. I can never qualify well. I'm not a 1 lap, or I guess 4 lap type of person. I can make my way towards the front after 125 laps, but I think the bottom was pretty good towards the first half of the race. Once we got past the stage break to about lap 80 or so, I think the bottom was pretty dominant. After that, it kind of moved up a little bit, but I just couldn't make the adjustment to move up. I just felt slower doing that.
Man, oh man, oh man. Awesome job here, man. Fantastic. Glad to see you back here racing. It has been a ton of fun to see that 51 machine. I've got to admit, you seemed rather conservative here tonight and not as aggressive as you normally are.
Yeah, I've been out a couple weeks. Don't want to make any enemies that I don't have to, especially going to Slinger next weekend, or I guess next week. Just try to run everybody clean, make sure donuts are fine here and there, but caution free. That's the way I like to finish these races.
I agree. I am so excited we finally went caution free here for this race, and it was definitely an excellent race here, even from our angle. Curtis, go ahead and give me a shout out here, buddy, and let's get you back to your team.
I appreciate you broadcasting, all the fans watching, Bill for putting this on, Kevin, all the admins doing fantastic work in the back. Appreciate everybody putting together a little something. I don't know if it's already been mentioned, so I don't want to spoil anything, but got some fun stuff lined up here in June.
All right, Curtis. Appreciate you, buddy. Good luck to you out there, and hopefully we see you back on the track before the end of the season.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be there next week and can't miss Slinger.
Sweet. See you, Curtis.
See ya.
All right, Curtis Yancey going ahead and knocking down our 3rd place finish. Moving on to 2nd, which is rather unusual, Nick Nickerson. Nick, what a race here, buddy. Just couldn't overtake Josh Adams here at the end.
Yeah, man, he was pretty fast, and I was just kind of playing like the risk versus reward situation here. Like, I know we say this like every week, but it was like excruciatingly hard to pass this time around with like guys that were about the same speed. And I didn't want to risk accidentally like turning them and then getting sent to the back of the field. And I can easily get like a nose in on the inside on one of the corners, but then it would be side by side for 4 or 5 laps trying to duke it out and then burn my tires off. And I just felt like, it just wasn't worth trying to go for the win on this one. So gain a couple extra points in the championship, and we'll move on to good old Slinger, where whatever cautions we didn't have this race, I'm sure we'll move right on over to that quarter-mile track.
I would say I could see a couple of cautions there, but not blatant ones, not every single time. Makes it difficult up here too, but definitely you guys ran an awesome race out here tonight. Last thing I want to grab, Nick, before I get your shout-outs, you were tailing behind Kevin Foster. It seemed you have the ability to make that pass, but Kevin Foster definitely was holding you off there for a few laps. I mean, is that the same situation here with Mr. Adams? Is you just kind of hang back a little bit and risk versus reward?
Yeah, I mean, almost the exact same thing. Like, I can get to the inside pretty easily, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with the draft. So as soon as I would pass them, he'd probably do the same thing. I think that actually happened once, where I actually got past Josh, and then he passed me again. But yeah, dude, it's just so hard to. When you're on the inside, like I can hear that, like when I get back on the throttle, the guy on the outside is getting back on the throttle at the same time. He just got so much more speed on the outside, and it was so hard to make like passes. And like that first stint when Josh first passed both Kevin and I was on the outside trying to defend, and I actually slapped the wall a little bit and got a little damage. So I definitely didn't want that to happen on the second stint. So it is what it is. We'll try again to get another win next week, but at this point in time, I just kind of have to play it safe,
All right, well, shout out time there, Nick.
Yeah, man, just Kevin and Bill, everybody that participates in the league, Perfect Shine Auto Spa, and appreciate you putting on the broadcast, man.
Excellent, great job, Nick, and I'm sure we'll talk again later.
Yeah, man, take it easy.
You too. All right, Nick Nickerson doing an excellent job there. That moves us on to Josh Adams. What a race here, man. We talked to you once, we'll talk to you again. You were definitely a man with the plan and had the speed, finishing a 1.5 seconds in front of second place. Apparently, that fresh air does help out front.
Yeah, it might. Just like I told you before we went green, I just needed to try and get a good restart and then set a pace. And we got a good restart, and we set a good pace for a while, and then I don't know if I saved the tires a little bit better or what, but started driving away, so that felt pretty good.
Yeah, definitely try to keep it short and sweet out there, and it definitely is excellent. Speaking of sweet, you take home the $20 bounty that was on Nick here tonight by beating him. We haven't seen a winner here other than our usual suspects out there for quite some time. You really made a move, seeing that last week you scored on the pole but weren't able to get the win. This time, you got it. This time, this one was all yours here at Richmond. We moved to Slinger Speedway next week. What's our opportunity to see the 22 back on the track?
I've started missing a couple of races now where I run normally. I've got a charter over there and only an X number of races that I can miss. I'm not sure, but we might have to see if we can go back to back.
All right. Well, Josh, we'll hope to see you do that. Slinger may be a little messier than this fine green flag racing we had here tonight. Josh, go ahead and give me a shout-outs here, buddy.
Yeah, everybody at my team for the sponsor I have on my hood at Juicy Spider Studios, Matt, Nick, Mike, Donnie, all them. And then, just the people that were probably watching us tonight and the 9-3 racing team. Victor, he had a pretty solid run. And then, I know we had Matt, Deontay, Bean, I think Robin, Victor's mom, and maybe his dad watching. So we got to get a win for all of them.
Oh, yeah. Excellent job. Josh, we're hoping to see if you can help. I wouldn't say carry your team, but hopefully they can learn a little bit of something what you do here tonight, and maybe all you guys can get up toward the front and go at it like the Perfect Shine Auto Spa guys can do. So congratulations on your win. And we'll be kind of on the edge of our seat to see you get back on the track.
All right, thank you.
Yep, not a problem. That's going to do it for us here at Simtrax Broadcasting. What a race, what a win here by Josh Adams. Wins a $20 bounty there for Nick Nickerson, as Nickerson was oh so close. Points are going to change now as Platt finishes back there in the 5th position. He was able to get one more and squeeze out just a little bit farther, which is going to make that points chase for Platt even steeper to run down Nick Nickerson with only 2 races left. All right, guys, next time I'll see you, it'll be for the Cheesesteak Classic 150 at Slinger Speedway next Wednesday night for 150 laps. But that's going to do it for us here at Simtrax Broadcasting, bringing you the Bandit Racing League. Be well, be safe, be kind. We'll see all you guys next time.